Yo, what is up? It is Bise HD here, back from another video. Today in this video, we're going to be continuing the Bise HD Community Championship, but today we're actually doing an arena cross track because that's probably what we're going to do after the season ends, because we actually did Foxborough too early. It was supposed to be this weekend, but we ended up doing it the previous weekend on Easter. Just so we stay on schedule, we decided to do an arena cross track, and then next weekend we'll do Vegas, and then the following weekend will be the final round, which is in Salt Lake. Alright, so with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into the first heat. Alright, so let's see if we can get the whole shot. Looks like it's going to be ID, or nope, it goes up to Ghost Cowie. So there was a lot of action going on back there. So this is our first little arena cross race, because we did Foxborough early, so we're going to be doing some arena cross races for this week, and then after the season probably. So we're just really testing this out. So there's going to be, this is not going to count towards points, so this is more of a test. So we're just going to see how things go. So obviously this is an arena cross track, so things are a lot closer, so it's going to be a lot tighter, so it's going to be a lot crazier, so positions are going to be changing a lot faster. So right now it looks like we have Ghost Cowie, who is way up front, doing pretty good. Then we have Gloomy, who is out in second, and it looks like Trizzy is trying to work on Gloomy. And then we have Craptube, who looks like he was just able to go by, and now he's going to be working on Gloomy for second place. Then we have Trizzy out here in fourth, trying to get around Craptube, and looks like we have somebody making a mistake. They're going to go down. So Ghost Cowie is still up front. He's got a good lead so far. Craptube right in second, and then Jake works his way up to third. Then we have Trizzy closely behind, followed by Mr. Gloomy, and then Savage, who is out a little bit further back. So the finish line jump is kind of a stretch, so you got to really get a good run at it to be able to clear it. So it looks like we have Craptube, who caught up to Ghost Cowie. This will be for first place. Looks like we have Jake, who just went down. That's going to drop him down to fifth. Craptube is right near Ghost Cowie. But it looks like we have Gloomy, who's trying to get around on the inside, not able to make the pass. And now we have Trizzy, who's starting to close into the picture. But Craptube is getting really close to Ghost Cowie. Looks like he's going to come up short on that double right there. Going to put him a little bit further back. Then we have Gloomy, who's going to come around on the inside, get Craptube, and trying to get Ghost Cowie, but he's going to get pushed off, goes off the track. That's going to slow him back. So we have Trizzy working on here. Looks like Ghost Cowie got shot off the track. That's going to throw him back to third, but he's going to go right up on the inside, but still not able to hold off the pass. So now we have Craptube up front with Trizzy closely behind, trying to work on that first position right there. He's going to come up a little bit short on that double, but not too bad. So he's going to get a nice little run onto that table. Then he got a single into the berm. Looks like he goes up high, goes to just drag him back. He's going to be able to get around on the inside. Takes that as a double, and he's going to start pulling away. But looks like Craptube went down, so now we have Mr. Gloomy in second. Then we have Ghost Cowie and Jake Boss going at it for fourth. Looks like Jake went down back to 8th. We got Gloomy starting to close in a little bit on Trizzy. Closely behind is Craptube and Matt. So Trizzy's putting in some good laps right now. Gloomy little ways behind Craptube. And then we have Matt, who's actually now just got around Craptube. This is for third place. But Craptube's not going to give up on him. He's going to go right back to Matt. It looks like out front they are starting to pull away and gap each other a little bit. Let's see, we got MX a little bit further behind, and then Jake, and then Savage back in 7th. Not a good ride from Savage. He's actually one of our top 3 riders. Looks like his little mistake from Craptube is going to allow Savage to get by. It's going to move him up to 6th place. Now he's going to try and work on Jake, who was actually trying to get around MX for 4th. Go up the line a little bit. Looks like we got some action going up front. Looks like Matt, he's actually the creator of this track, is in 3rd. He's going to try and get around Trizzy, but looks like Gloomy was able to get around Trizzy. Actually now, okay, so they're going back and forth right now, going from 1st to 2nd place. So right now we got Trizzy, who just made the pass on Gloomy, so that puts him up front. And it looks like back here, oh, Savage actually went down. He was in 4th, or still is, but Jake's able to get around him. Looks like he made a mistake right there. But we got Matt, who just came up a little short on that table right there. It's going to mess him up right here. But looks like we got Gloomy, who just got back around Trizzy. But Trizzy is coming back on the inside. Going to go right back up and take first place position again. So these two are going at it back and forth. Looks like we got something going on back here. Looks like Jake dropped to 6, trying to get around MX, trying to get him in a transfer spot. Got Savage, who was able to work his way up. He's in a good spot for the main. Gloomy, a little ways from Trizzy, still not going to give up though. Matt is a little bit further away, but we have Savage, who's actually starting to close in on Matt. So we're actually on the last lap right now. So they're probably running about 30-second lap times, so it's going to be much shorter races probably. Ooh, looks like Matt made a mistake. That's going to push him down to 5th. So Matt's going to take the last guaranteed transfer spot. Then Jake is going to take 6th place. So we'll have to look at lap time to see if he'll make it. Then we had ID, and then we have SpongeBob, Ghost Cowie, who actually started off pretty good. I think he got the whole shot, but he was back to 9th. Then we have CrapTube, who's back in 10th. And then looks like we had a different rider who unfortunately was disconnected. All right, so here's the results for heat number 1. So we have Trizzy, Gloomy, Savage, Matt, Jake, who are in guaranteed transfer spots. And then we'll have to look at MX's life to see if his time is better than the second heat, because we're actually doing a 3rd heat, but the 3rd heat only has 3 people in there, so we'll take the top rider from that one to the B main. All right, so heat number 2 is about to go. So we had some fast qualifying times in this one. We actually had Pro Racer, who hit a 29.3, I believe. So we'll keep an eye out on him. But looks like Worm is going to get the whole shot. Going to go off the track though. Man, big pile up right up front. So looks like Dabber is going to be up front for first. I guess he got the whole shot. Don't know exactly sure. Actually, no. He didn't get the whole shot. It's just everybody got thrown off the track. Looks like Bradley's going off. Going to allow everybody to pass him probably. So that's not good. We got Worm, who actually had the 2nd fastest time. And let's see, Pro Racer's all the way back in 10th. So he actually had the fastest time by a long shot. So he's definitely going to have to work his way up here if he wants to get to the main. But we do have a little over 4 minutes, so I think he'll have time to get back up there. But that'll be very unfortunate if he doesn't make it to the main. So it looks like Worm just got his way up to 2nd place, or 1st place that is. Then Dabber got moved back to 2nd. Looks like he went off the track. So Holt's going to go around, and he's going to take 2nd place. And then looks like Traney just got around Dabber for 3rd. Then we have the Unknown back in 5th. Swifty in 6th place. Then we have Pro, who worked his way back up to 7th. But Slicksy is trying to work on him and take that position back. Pro's going to be able to hold him off. Now he's going to work on his way. Actually goes up to 7th because it looks like we had Swifty go down. So Pro's up to 6th. So he needs to get at least 5th to confirm a spot in the main event. So it looks like we got a battle going on for 4th. So Dabber just got around Traney, but looks like he went off into the tough blocks. It's going to put Traney back in 4th. Going to be able to clear that. Then we have Pro in 5th, who is quickly catching up to Traney. So Pro is now in a confirmed transfer spot, but he wants to get his way back up there. So it looks like Unknown made a little mistake. It's going to push him back. So Pro's going to be able to try and get around him. Looks like Traney's going to take that line away from him and hold him off. So he's going to try and get Unknown just to push himself away from Pro. So let's see how he takes this. He's going to go on, off right there. So he hits that pretty clean. So he's going to still try and work on Unknown. Then we have Holt up in 2nd. Then we have Worm a little ways away. So Pro looks like he's went on the outside of Traney. So they're going to put him in 4th. Now he's going to work on the Unknown, who is in third. And Unknown is right starting to close in on Holt. So these guys are actually teammates. So Pro is already starting to catch up to Unknown. So remember, he started off basically in last. And he's going to go right here on the inside. He's going to try and hold him off, see if he can get a better drive through the whoops. He's going to push him out front. Now he's back to third. So then Holt's a little ways away. And then Worm has really pulled off. So let's see if Pro will be able to catch up to Holt. Not sure. Then we have the Unknown still behind with Trainee, who's going to try and put pressure on him. But looks like Unknown is not quite giving up on Pro yet. But it looks like Pro is starting to catch up to Holt. This will be for second place. You can see right there to the left, we just had Worm go by, so he's got a pretty good lead. So we have about a minute, 10 seconds left, and then a lap. So let's see. Pro's going to be able to get inside and get around Pro. Get around Holt. So Pro is now up to second, and he actually has Worm in sight. So that'll be very impressive if he's actually going to be able to get Worm, because that will mean he came from last to first. So let's see if he can get it. A little under a minute to go. Let's see if he's going to be able to catch up to Worm. So Pro, definitely, obviously, he's the points leader. So he is the fastest rider in this championship right now. So I think he'll be able to catch up to Worm. So it looks like we actually have a lap rider, Grieve, and Swifty. So they are out of the way. But looks like Pro is starting to really catch. Oh, never mind. That's a lap rider. So this lap rider right here definitely needs to get out of the way. So Grieve, let's see. Let's send him a warning so he knows to get out of the way. Hopefully he does see that, because it looks like there he goes. So he sees that warning. He's going to get out of the way. But looks like Pro is still going to crash. So let's see. Holt is actually going to be able to start to catch back up to Pro. But let's see. Is that Worm, or is that another lap rider? Looks like we got another lap rider. So we'll give him a warning too, just so he knows to get out of the way. So that's the only thing with this shorter track, is that they're going to lap people a lot faster. So looks like Holt right there on the last lap started to get around to Pro, but Pro's going to hold him off. Let's see, it looks like those lap riders were holding him back, because he was closing out on Worm, but because of those lap riders, Worm was able to pull back away. And Holt is still going to try and get back into second, but don't know if he's going to be able to get back around Pro. And Dabber, little ways behind. Looks like we have some lap riders going off the track everywhere. So it looks like Worm just crossed the finish line. So it's going to give him first, and Pro in second, Holt third. Then we're going to have the Dabber kid in fourth, and then Slicksy will take fifth, and then Unknown will take sixth. So we'll have to look at the lap times to see which one will get qualified to the main event. And then we have Unknown in 8th, Trainee in 9th, Swifty back in 10th. So unfortunately, those riders are not going to be able to make it to the main. All right, so here's the results for heat number 2. So we have Worm, Pro Racer, Holt, Dabber Kid, and Slicksy, who are in the top 5, so they're guaranteed going to main event A. And we'll have to look at the Unknown's time to see if he'll make it to the 450A main, or if he'll go to the 450B main with the rest of the riders. All right, so we got Luke Pro, who just took the whole shot. Then we have Holcomb, who is in second, and then Two Wheel third. Looks like he missed the gate drop. So let's see, we got Luke up front. Then we have, we'll just do Fight in second, and then Two Wheel in third. So this is a really small heat, so these guys are probably going to be ended up in the B main. So let's see. So we're going to look at their lap times for this to determine, to see if they can make it. So Luke Pro's putting in some pretty good laps. And then Two Wheel looks like he worked his way up to second, even though they didn't even start on time. Then we have Fight back in third. So obviously these guys are going to be a lot more spaced out. So let's see, can we actually look at no, we can't look at the times, unfortunately. So we'll have to wait till the end. But once again, this race is not going to be counting for our points. This is just a little arena cross race, so we're just testing this out because this is what we'll probably do after the end of the Supercross season, because this weekend is supposed to be Foxborough, but we went early, did it last weekend. So next weekend we'll get back on schedule by doing Vegas, and Vegas is not the last round. It's actually going to be Salt Lake City. So for some reason they decided to do Salt Lake as a final round, which obviously is not going to happen because of the virus going out. But we're still going to go on schedule and do that there. So it looks like Luke is still up front. Two Wheel out in second. Fight back in third. So really these guys gotta just try and put in some good laps if they want to make it into one of the mains. So they won't make it into A main because A main will be the top 5 from both mains, and then we'll look at the top 6 to determine which one was the fastest. But Jake did tell me that there is a way you can have 12 riders and race director, but don't know if we're going to be able to do that, but we're going to try anyways. It looks like Luke's having some problems. Went off the track, but he's got such a big lead that I think he'll be fine. And really we're just focused on their lap times. So these guys will probably end up in the B main if they do have a fast enough time. So there's going to be no changes in position, obviously, since there's only 3 riders in here. So once again, we'll just be looking at their lap times. So we still got a minute and 10 seconds and then a lap to go. So these guys just need to focus on putting on some good times. So they could probably put in 3 to 4 more laps since the track is shorter. And then we're still trying to decide how long the mains will be. We might do a 20-minute main for the A group and a 10-minute for the B group, but we don't know for sure yet. So Luke is actually putting in some pretty good laps, so unfortunately I can't look the lap times until afterwards, but I think he'll probably be able to qualify to the B main for sure. Looks like Two Wheel was able to get around Luke, so maybe Two Wheel is putting in some faster laps, so maybe Luke and Two will be able to get into the B main. Don't know about Fight. Looks like he's struggling a little bit. Actually, let's just watch him real quick, see how he does. So all it really matters is just if he can put in one good lap. So we'll go back. Oh, looks like Luke got back around Two Wheel. So I'll be really curious to see what the times are, because the fastest lap time we've had for the heats is like a 29.3, and that was set by Pro Racer. So obviously the A main is going to be all the fastest guys, and then the B main will be the second fastest guys. So basically we'll look at like 6th place and below to see who can get into that main. So Luke Pro is going to finish us off for this last and final heat, and then Two Wheel, and then Fight, Alright, so here's the results from the final heat race. So we have Luke Pro, who took first place, so he will advance to the 450B main. Alright, so right now we're going to have the 450A main. So these are going to be all of your fastest guys. So this is going to be a very good race. And then we'll do a 450B main after this. Alright, so let's see who gets the whole shot. It's going to be Slicksy. Slicksy gets the whole shot. Let's see. Everybody's going to be kind of all bunched together in these first few laps because the track is much smaller. So we'll just kind of look from the pack to see what's going on up front. So it looks like Jake actually got a pretty good start. So he's in 5th right now, or actually worked his way up to 4th. Then we have the Unknown up in 3rd, who's behind Matt. And then we have Slicksy up front. So let's actually go back. Looks like Pro is all the way back in 9th. So this is a 20-minute main, only because these guys are all fast. So there's going to be a lot of bumping around and stuff. So we just got to make sure that is fair. But for the 450B main, it will be only 10 minutes. Just because we don't want to have a basically 40-minute main. So it looks like there's some stuff going up front. So Unknown is trying to get around Matt. And Slicksy is actually doing pretty good. I think he actually was the one that pulled the whole shot, and he's been able to keep his position up there. Dabber up in 4th, actually just got passed by Holt. So these guys are actually teammates. And we have Worm, who's also another teammate, and Unknown is a teammate. So once again, we got all the Rebel KTM guys, just like last weekend, right in up front in the main. So Jake looks like he got pushed back to 10th. Savage back in 9th, but he's going to make a bunch of positions right here. Looks like everybody's still clumped up, so there's going to be a lot of action going on here. So we have Pro, who is in 7th. He's right behind Holt. And then the rest of the Rebel KTM guys, which make up the next few positions. So it looks like there's something going on up here. Looks like Matt just had a little bobble, which is going to allow Worm to get by. Looks like Worm goes off the track, though. So Matt's actually going to get back up there. Looks like Worm's actually going to be able to get on the inside and get that position back. So Slicksy is still way up front. Looks like he's going to go down. It's going to slow him down. So let's see if anybody's going to be able to catch up to him. So yes, the Red Bull guys are actually going to slowly catch up to him because of that little mistake he had. So we got Mr. Gloomsy and Jake side by side. Oh, looks like Gloomsy goes down, though. Then we have Holt, Savage, Dabber. Then we have Matt. And then, so yeah, we got a bunch of Honda guys and Rebel KTM riders in the middle of this track. So let's see, Slicksy is still up front, doing pretty good. Then we have the Unknown in 2nd. Looks like he's going to take out some tough blocks, going to throw him off the track. It's going to allow Worm and Pro, who's now worked his way up to 3rd. Very impressive ride from him. Doesn't look like he got a good start in his heat either. So he's definitely had to been working on these races. But it looks like Dabber is just going to be able to take the inside from him. And then his teammate Trizzy actually goes by for a second, but he's able to pull back out in front. So Pro's back now in 4th. Then we have the Dabber kid, who is working on Worm. This will be for 2nd place. So Dabber kid's putting in some good laps right now. Impressive ride from him. Let's see, Pro is back here, and Trizzy, his teammate. Looks like we have somebody go down. Looks like that might have been Dabber kid. Puts him back to 5th. And then we have somebody poking their head up. Let's see who is this. We got Savage, Matt, Trizzy, and then Pro. So these guys are all teammates. So Slicksy is still up front. He's been up front the entire race. Worm, a little ways behind. Looks like he goes down. That's going to allow Pro to get by. So that puts him back in 3rd. And then 4th as Trizzy's able to get by. And then we have Savage, who is closely behind now, trying to work that in for 4th. And he's able to get by him. And now he's going to work on Trizzy. This will be for 3rd place. And Pro looks like he's already starting to catch up to his teammate Slicksy, who's been out front the entire race so far. So I think Pro is going to be able to quickly get him, as he's been putting in some very quick laps on this track. So let's see, Trizzy still behind him. Then we have Worm, who slows up too much, which allows Savage to get by for 4th. So Savage has Trixie in sight. Going to try and work on him for 3rd. So Pro still a little ways away from Slicksy. Looks like he's going to come up a little short on that. And Trizzy is not far behind as well. Then we have Savage, Worm. Then Jake looks like he worked his way back to 6th as he goes down on that. So it looks like Jake was actually able to make some positions. Looks like Worm went off the track. Guess he's still able to hold his position though. So let's see. Pro is really starting to close in on Slicksy. So obviously these guys are teammates, so he's probably not going to run him up on any of the berms or anything like that. So they both are able to clear that double right there pretty fine. So it is spaced out a bunch, so it does make things interesting. You got to really go wide open on it to clear that. So these guys looks like they're hitting basically the same line, so it's all comes down to who makes a mistake, which looks like Pro messed up a little bit in that whoop section, which is going to allow Trizzy to start closing a little bit. Then we have Savage a little ways behind, not close enough though. So we are 14 minutes left to go into the main. Slicksy is still up front, so he's been leading this entire race for 6 minutes now. Let's see who's back here. Looks like we got the Red Bull guys. Then we have Jake, who got pushed back to 8th, it looks like. And then Holt, another Red Bull KTM guy, back in 9th. Matt, looks like he's back in 10th. And then Gloomy, back in 11th. This is a privateer right here. So let's see. Pro is starting to close in on Slicksy. Looks like we have a lap rider right there. Don't know if he's AFK or what. Oh, Slicksy goes off the berm. It's going to allow Pro to get by. Slicksy's able to recover quickly, but Trizzy is going to be right on his tail because of that mistake. Let's see. Worm is a little ways behind. Not close enough to make any position changes on there, but Trizzy is going to try and get around Slicksy. Okay, it looks like we had a rider get disconnected. Ooh, Trizzy's going to come up a little bit short on that double right there, but he's still going to try and work on his teammates. So up in the first 3 positions, we have all Honda guys. Looks like Trizzy goes off the track. Worm close behind, so Worm says looking for some more mistakes to be able to get around somebody. And then we have Savage back up to 5th with Dabber. So looks like we have top 3 are Honda guys, and then 4 through 6 is Red Bull KTM. So pretty funny how that played out. But we have Jake back here in 7th. Unknown is trying to get around him. Then we have Holt back in 9th, and then Matt in 10th. So let's go back up front to the pack. See, looks like Pro's already starting to pull away and create a gap from Slicksy, who's back in 2nd, and then Trizzy, who is still a little ways away from Slicksy. Then we have Worm, Savage, and Dabber. So it looks like everybody's starting to space out a little bit. Oh, looks like Dabber may have gone off the track or something, kicked him back a little bit, which is going to allow Jake to start to close in a little bit. Still not enough to make a pass though. But looks like Trizzy is starting to catch in a little bit onto Slicksy. Don't know if he'll be able to pass him here or not, so it's going to come down to if anybody makes a mistake. Which it looks like they are both hitting some clean lines, hints as to why they're up front. So it looks like they are actually coming around to a lap rider. Don't know exactly who that is, but since this track is shorter, there's going to be definitely a lot of more lap riders. So it's going to be interesting how this plays out as we have a 20-minute main. So we are almost halfway through this main, so there can still be a lot of changes in position as this track is so short and they're still close together. So Trizzy really starting to, looks like, actually, no, that's not Pro, that's actually a lap rider. So we got Worm. Ooh, Slicksy comes up short on that triple right there. So let's see if there's any lappers that we need to make known. Looks like everybody's fine for now. Dabber Kid, 7th place right now. He's working on Jake. Jake is hopping through his whoops right there. It's going to slow him down a little bit. So Dabber Kid's going to try and take this inside away from him. Let's see, they're going to play it clean. Let's see who gets a better... Ooh, okay, so Jake is able to cleanly get over that double as he throws in a nasty little whip too. It's going to keep him up front in front of Dabber. But Dabber's not going to give up. He's going to see if he can get around on the outside. Looks like he's not going to be able to. Jake's going to be able to hit that triple pretty clean. And let's see, looks like they both get an okay run through the whoops. Dabber came up and clipped a little tough block, but that's not going to slow him down too much. So let's see, he's going to try and get him on his inside. Not quite going to have enough room to get in there. Let's see, they both are able to clear that double. So Jake is still going to be able to hold him off. So it looks like Worm just went off the track. Don't know what happened there. Okay, let's see if there's any... Nope, nothing's up close. Oh, looks like we had a rider leave Holt. Don't know what happened there. That's unfortunate. I think he was actually doing pretty well too. So unfortunately, we've had 2 riders already leave the race, which I hate to see, especially in this 450 main event. So I'm a little surprised that everybody is actually starting to create gaps, even though the track is so short, because I would say the average lap time is about 30 seconds. So that's half a minute. So that's basically half the size of the normal tracks that we're used to racing. But since this is an arena cross track, oh, looks like Dabber Kid just was able to get around Jake. That is for 6th place. So it looks like he is able to speed up and get by, as he's actually looks like he's starting to close in a little bit on Worm, who has Savage right in front of him in 4th place. Slicksy's still in 3rd. Trizzy's 2nd, and Pro up in front. Looks like Pro's coming up on a lap rider. So let me make sure. Just going to let him know to slow down and make sure he lets Pro gets by, which I think he will. Which means Pro is actually lapped up to 8th place, which is pretty impressive, but this track is smaller. So let's see. Jake is right behind Dabber Kid. This will be for 6th. Jake was in front of him earlier, but Dabber was able to get around him. So Jake's going to see if he can try and get that position back from him. Pro still up front with a decent lead, with Trizzy behind and Slicksy a little ways behind, and then Savage a few ways away. And then we have Worm, Dabber, and then Jake, who looks like he's actually starting to catch up on Dabber. Looks like Dabber made a mistake as he goes off the track there. Looks like Jake just clips him right there. So it looks like Jake's able to spawn in 1st, and he gets around him for 6th place. Dabber's going to try and get him back though. Let's see if he takes him inside. Nope, that tough block's going to slow him down and mess up his rhythm. So that's going to give Jake an advantage, as it allows him to pull away, and even allows Matt to catch up. Or was that Pro? Looks like Pro was just able to lap another rider. So Pro has actually lapped all the way up to 7th place, and now he is behind Jake. So he will actually possibly be lapping 6th place. So Pro definitely has a huge gap, as he's starting to slowly lap up his way in the pack. Of course, we have Trizzy still in 2nd, with Slicksy. Looks like he's glitching around on a track. Don't know what is happening there, but he is from Australia, so the servers are sometimes a little buggy for him. So hopefully that does not mess him up. Looks like everything's starting to look a little bit better, so that's good. Always hate the, well, would hate to see somebody mess up from that. Looks like Pro just lapped Jake, so that is 7th. So let's see. There's Dabber right there. Did he get around Dabber yet? No. So Pro is on his way of lapping a bunch of riders. So we have 5 minutes left in this main event. So Pro is definitely in a good spot. Looks like we have Trizzy, who is about to get around Jake. So hopefully Jake does not hold him up. So let me just warn Jake that there is a lap rider behind him, so he can let him get by. Yep, he does that. Lets Trizzy get by. So we still got the KTM guys who are always seem to be in 4th through 6th. Looks like Slicksy had to deal with a lap rider right there, but he's able to get around him. And it looks like Pro is on his way to lap another rider. Don't know if that's Worm or Dabber. I think that might be Dabber. No, don't end. See, I can't really. Well, let me look back. Let's see. I'll look at the numbers. Oh, yep. Okay, so he does get out of the way for Pro, but that's gonna throw him off a little bit in a whoops. But luckily, he has such a big lead that that's not gonna really affect him. So these top 3 guys are actually pretty spaced out, so they're slowly coming around the same lappers. So that's the only thing with a small track like this, is that lappers is going to be a big problem. But looks like we only have 3 minutes left in this main event, so it's not that big of a deal yet. So I'm just curious to see how many riders Pro is actually going to be able to lap, because I think he's lapped all the way up to 6th, I believe. Yeah, actually he has lapped up to 5th, because there's Dabber and there he is right there. So next rider for him to lap is Savage. So if Pro is able to lap his way up to at least 3rd, that'll be pretty impressive. So let's see where Savage is. Looks like he's went around that turn. And actually it looks like Pro just might lap Savage, and that'll be, actually no. Wait. Yes, he is behind Savage, who is in 4th place. So that'll put the perspective of how fast Pro is going around right now. So we have Trixie still in 2nd, or Trizzy, and then Slicksy. So it looks like they have spaced their ways out a little bit. We have Savage in 4th still. Then Dabber. Looks like that might be Pro in front of him. Not exactly sure. Looks like Jake has some issues. He's back to 8th place now. And then looks like we have Unknown, who is back in 9th. Looks like he's got left by 2 riders right there. We got Pro up here. Still looks like he's coming around more lappers. Trizzy in 2nd, still a little ways away, but he's got some lappers that he's going to have to deal with shortly. Looks like a pair of KTM riders. Don't know exactly who those guys are. It's hard to tell who is lappers and who is actually up front now. Looks like Trizzy's coming around up on a lap rider. 2 lap riders, actually. Let's see. I think that might be Worm and Dabber. So these guys are actually in 6th and 5th place. Looks like Trizzy's able to get around them though. Looks like Trizzy is coming up on another KTM lap rider. So I think that will be Savage maybe. Looks like Pro's coming up on another lap rider. Actually, I think this might be his first time getting past Savage. So let's just make sure Savage knows that we have Pro right behind him, I believe. Yes. So Pro should, yep, looks like he goes on the inside and lets Pro get by him. So Pro has lapped his way up to 4th. So pretty impressive ride from Pro. And once again, remember, he did not have a good start. So he has definitely worked his way up. So we are on the last lap, which will go by pretty fast since these tracks are shorter. So this is last time going to the whoop section, hitting this turn, going back onto the start, and he'll come around this last turn, hit this double, and he's going to take your first place spot, which is his 4th win in a row, I believe. We have Savage, and then don't know why it's showing Trixie there. So I guess the order's all jacked up, so we're gonna have to look at the results afterwards. Alright, so here's the results for the 450A main. So we have Pro Racer, who took 1st place, followed by Trizzy, and Slicksy, who got 3rd. So now we're getting ready for 450B main. Alright, let's see if we can get the whole shot. So it looks like Grieve got a little good drive. Bradley's able to get up there, but it's gonna be Ghost Cowie or not. So SpongeBob, the GOAT, is up front. Then we have ID in 2nd, Gibby in 3rd, Tranny, and then everybody's clumped up a little bit. So looks like we got a bunch of privateers in this race, which obviously makes sense as these are the B riders. So these are some of the little bit of the slower riders in here. So it looks like we're gonna have a lot of people out here going down. Looks like a bunch of people case that triple right there. So let's actually go up to the front of the pack. So we have Gibby, who is in 3rd. ID is in 2nd. Then we have SpongeBob, the GOAT, who just took off up front. So looks like he's gonna have a good drive through that section right there, with ID closely behind. And then we got Gibby, who just got passed out by Tranny, but looks like he made a little bit of a bobble. So Gibby's gonna try and get back around him. So all these riders are tight. So let's look through here. Looks like ID got a bad run through the whoops. It's going to slow him down a little bit. Tranny's going to be able to get by. And then Gibby is going to try and work on him. See if we can take him on the inside. Not quite. Looks like ID came up short on that, which is going to allow Gibby to close in a little bit more. See, these guys are clumped up pretty well. Let's see. Looks like ID was able to get by Tranny for 2nd. Then SpongeBob is right up front. So here we go. We got Tranny in 3rd. So looks like we have a good 3-way battle for 1st place as ID has caught up to SpongeBob. But looks like ID cased that double right there. So now it's Tranny who is closing in on SpongeBob. Looks like they're going to go really tight right there. Both going to slow them up, which is going to allow ID to get around them, looks like, or at least get around Tranny. He's going to go off the track, which is going to actually looks like Gibby went off the track as well. So let's see, Tranny still in 2nd with SpongeBob up front. Then we have ID a little ways behind. We got Gibby. Then we got Swifty back here in 5th, trying to work his way up to Gibby. Let's see. Looks like Gibby almost goes over the bars right there. Looks like we had a player get kicked from or leave the match. Then we got Ghost Cowie a little ways behind. Looks like we have ID that just went down. It's going to allow Swifty to get by. Let's see. Looks like Tranny has caught back up to SpongeBob. Let's see if he's going to be able to hold it off this time. Ooh, looks like SpongeBob comes short on there. It's going to land underneath him. It's going to make him go down. Looks like MX, looks like he had to leave. He probably had to go eat dinner. I know he was telling me before this that it was cutting close. So that's unfortunate for him that he had to leave early. But looks like Trainee is starting to close back in on SpongeBob. Let's see if he's going to be able to get him on his inside. Got a better run through the whoops. Yes, he's going to take him up right there. But SpongeBob's going to try and fight back. He's going to come back on the inside. He's going to hold in this inside line. But Trainee's going to try and take it. It's going to hit a tough block. It's going to slow him down. So looks like SpongeBob came up short on that. But he's still going to be able to hold him off. So these guys are side by side. So let's see if he can get a better run through the whoops. SpongeBob is going to get past. Let's see if he can get him back here, right here. He's going to try and cut in short. He's not going to be able to hit that triple, so it's going to slow him down a little bit. So Trainee is going to take the first place position away. He's going to throw him out front. Then we have SpongeBob behind him now. Looks like we got Gibby, who just went around Swifty, but Swifty is not going to give up. He's going to go back on the inside. He's going to take third place back. And then they're a little ways behind SpongeBob and Trainee. But he's going to see if he can hold off Gibby. So Gibby's going to try and come back at him. Going to come up short on that table. It's going to slow him down, which is going to allow ID to come back on the inside, get around Gibby. And Gibby's trying to come back, but he goes off the track right there. So now we have ID up in fourth. So he's going to try and work his way up to Swifty. Let's see. Looks like we got Bradley back to seventh. Luke Pro eighth. Looks like Bradley's going to go off the track. Looks like Trainee just lapped Luke. So obviously, let's see. Luke does realize that that is the lap rider, or he's being lapped. So that's good. But it looks like we're having some issues right here with a lap rider. Don't know exactly who that is. Let's see. Let's give him a warning. Let him know that there's a lap, or first place is behind him. So hopefully he does stay out of the way. Yes, he does allow him to get by, but he's still coming back at him. So don't know what's going on here. Gonna send him another warning. Don't know if he's just glitching or what's going on there. So he's back in seventh and he's slowing down Trainee, who's up in first. So Swifty still holding on third. Looks like he's starting to pull away a little bit. Not quite close enough to second place, but he's got a good lead, or good position in third right now. Got a good gap on ID, who is a little ways behind. We have Ghost Cowie, who's a little ways behind, and then we have Gibby, Bradley, and then Luke back in eighth. Looks like we had two riders get disconnected. So let's see, make sure it's not having any problems with lap riders. Looks like everything's good, but it looks like SpongeBob actually is having, okay, so no, that's Luke right there, but he's going to be able to get around him fine. It's not going to slow him up at all. Looks like we got Trainee, who is having some difficulties with a lap rider. Looks like that's Gibby. We have to make sure he does know to back off, let him get by. So Trainee looks like he's already lapped up to sixth place. So Trainee's putting in some pretty good laps. We'll have to keep an eye on SpongeBob, see if he has an issue with Gibby, because he's a little ways behind him. So have to keep an eye on there. So obviously, since these tracks are shorter, we're going to have some issues with lap riders no matter what. So let's see. Looks like Ghost Cowie is a little ways behind ID. Not close enough to start making a battle yet. So it looks like people are already starting to space out once again. So let's see. ID is going to go off the side of the track. And Ghost Cowie is going to case this, so he's not going to be able to get around because of that. And he hits that tough block, which is going to slow him down. And it looks like we have Trainee, who is just able to get by again. So definitely working his way up there. So Trainee is lapping people left and right now. Let's see, looks like he's coming up on another lap rider. Let's see who this is. So this is ID. So ID is actually in fourth. So we're gonna have to keep an eye out, make sure that he does realize that Trainee is coming up on him. So I can actually send little warnings. So if you get a warning, that's only because there's a lap rider. So if you ever get a warning, that's why. So okay, don't have to warn him because he looks like he did know. Looks like Trainee goes back around Luke, so he has actually lapped him twice now. So Trainy's actually on fire right now. So he barely didn't make it to the A main. So he's definitely, I think he's actually been in the A main before, or the actual 450 main. So that's why he's actually going pretty fast. So it looks like he's now up to Swifty. So to let him know that Trainy's behind him. So wow, Trainy's actually caught up to 3rd place. Pretty impressive. And SpongeBob is right up there too. So looks like Trainee is actually going to lap up to 2nd place, which will mean he has passed everybody on this track twice. So that is pretty impressive. So obviously Swifty does not want to back off too much though, because SpongeBob, who is in 2nd, is right in front of him. So we'll have to definitely watch that, because they don't want to slow each other down, but they also can't slow down Trainee, who is up in 1st. So we'll have to keep an eye out for him. Let's see. So yeah, Swifty, obviously he's a lap down from Trainee, but SpongeBob is a little ways ahead of him, so he's still going to try and put on pressure. So we got about 30 seconds and a lap to go, so we probably got about 2 to 3 more laps for these riders. So Trainee starting to close in on SpongeBob. So I'm going to go ahead and warn SpongeBob that he's behind him. Looks like he popped into his screen, so he's going to hopefully pull off without not losing too much time, which he does, kind of. Okay, so he lets him by, so that means Trainee has lapped everybody on the track. So SpongeBob don't know what he's doing. He's still trying to hold him up. Hopefully he does realize that he's not caught up to him and that he's actually been lapped. So I'll send him another one just so he knows, which he does. So let's see if Swifty is going to start to catch up to SpongeBob, which he's still a little ways ahead of him. He's a few sections ahead of him, so not quite enough, but we do have 2 laps to go. But Trainee's about to cross the finish line, so we are on our final lap. So pretty impressive how he was able to lap all the way up to 2nd place and actually lap some people multiple times. So Trainee obviously putting in some really good laps. I'll be curious to see what his lap time was, because I would like to compare them to the 450A race, because I think he could have actually made it to the A main and done pretty well. So he's coming around right here, and he's going to take 1st place for the 450B class. And then SpongeBob is close behind, but that's because he was a lap down, but they're going to go ahead and end it anyways. Then we have Swifty, ID, Ghost Cowie back in 6th. Alright, so here's the results for the 450B main. So we actually had Trainee, who put a really good lap time in with a 31.1, and he was actually able to lap all the way up to 2nd place. So he was on fire, so he barely didn't make it to the 450A main. So he was just definitely a lot faster than some of these other guys in this race. Alright, so hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. I know this video is probably a little bit longer, and that's because we did 2 mains and an additional 3rd heat. So if you guys do want to be in this series, make sure you guys go check out the description. I'll have more information below there. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video pretty soon. Peace out. Bye.